Welcome everyone to the Row by Row Garden Show, the best dadgum gardening show on the radio and internet as well. Glad to have you this evening. Good to be back in the house with Miss Hoss. We got a good show you for this evening. We're going to talk about eating clean. What do you think about that?
I think it's good. We've been trying to do that for the last couple of weeks.
Yes, we have. I made a lot of progress in the last year, probably a year and a half, on doing a lot better job of that. So let's talk about what is going on in the garden. We finally got a break from the rain. Got some of our fall gardening chores done. I got some things planted. I got my tomatoes and peppers planted. I got my flowers planted. And I want to tell you what I did. So I snuck me a crop of these in, a whole plot of the Delicatas. And the reason I did that, it's 100 days maturity. Now I know I'm running closer, but I said, what if I can pull this off? What if I can get a crop of winter squash to come off about Thanksgiving or before Thanksgiving so that we can enjoy them during Thanksgiving? I thought that would be great. And I actually think I can pull it off at 100 days. Shouldn't be really a problem. Now, I know I'm going to have more disease and insect pressure, and I'm prepared for that. I'm going to have to keep them sprayed on kind of vine borers, on kind of powdery meal, doing things like that. But I think I can pull it off. Got them on drip irrigation, got everything rocking and rolling. So I pretty much got my fall garden planted. I'm planting sweet corn probably this week, and that'll be it. Got squash and cucumbers already planted. May probably plant another crop of summer squash. And then we'll be getting ready, or I will be getting ready for the next go around, which will be our cool weather crops. How about your garden?
Everything's planted. My squash is actually coming up. Sunflower's doing good. Still got peppers going. I'll show you these patio tomatoes.
Man, ain't they been something this year?
These, I've got about 5 or 6 of these. We'll show you a picture of them on my patio.
Yeah, let me see that in there. Yeah, we actually 2 plants in there.
Yeah.
Let's shoot it up here where everybody can see that right there. This is the little birdie series that we carry here good. That has been a game changer for this year. Now, we normally don't do a lot of container gardening, but man, this is awesome right here. We actually had a guy, one of our customers, write in. He already just talked about them, and he wrote us in some good, pertinent information about these we thought we'd share with you.
All right. It says, "Hey, Hoss, I've been growing micro dwarfs for years, and the little birdie micros were my first and probably still the best overall. Just some tips I learned through the years, extremely versatile. They will grow and produce in something as small as an 8-ounce cup, but do best in 1-gallon containers. Rosie Finch can benefit from a 2-gallon, and I think
that's probably that one there, yeah.
That one there. They don't like the ground. Avoid getting wet because the dense foliage allows the roots to form all the way up the stalk, and you can actually see that on these stalks. You can get multiple harvests, and the plant can actually live up to 3 years."
Yep,
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, if you got a greenhouse or somewhere you can put them inside, I didn't know that either, but they'll last a long time. Now, I was interested to hear that they didn't do good in the ground, because I was actually going to do some testing on that, and I really don't know why, because this is just, this is a hanging basket or a container plant, and I was going to try some in the ground, but that's good to know that they don't like the ground as well.
He also says just trim off the old foliage after harvest and the suckers will take over. And I actually did that to one of my yellow canary, and it's actually working.
Yep.
Amazing plants that are hard to kill or stun. This actually came from 29 Slow Joe. Thank you for those remarks. Yeah. Very interesting.
So just give you an example. We can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you picked one while ago. So there's 6 tomatoes on this little bitty plant right here, and then let's put on another crop behind that.
And it doesn't get much bigger than this.
No, this is about as big as they get.
When did you plant these? Do you remember?
It's not been that long ago. They 55 days to maturity, so they grow off quick, and they really do well. No fertilizer in here, just good compost, good compost and potting soil. They seem to have a little green around the stem right there, which is okay.
Still tastes good.
Yeah, they still taste good. I believe that's the Rosie Finch right there. See, it's turning rosy.
You planted these, so I'm not sure.
So here we are right here. I'm going to show y'all it's called the Little Birdie series, and this is from Delicatas Seeds. And if these are a winner this year for us, it's these right here. How many have you got? How many have you got down in the house?
About 8.
Probably 8. And you potted about 8 of them up. I'll tell you something else I did. I bought some grow bags, some like gallon grow bags. I grew a bunch of these and I put them in those gallon grow bags and I gave them away to everybody that come by that acted like they was interested. I give them a tomato plant. And I tell them all you got to do is carry it home, put it out, keep it watered, fertilize a little bit. It will make tomatoes. It's a perfect gift for someone, or if you like to grow things in containers, definitely need to check out the Little Birdie series. We're also, for next year, we're working on acquiring some miniature pepper seeds as well. So we'll have a whole series of tomatoes and peppers that you can grow in small containers or inside there, so you can have peppers and tomatoes possibly year round. I mean, I can see you growing those inside in a grow light year round.
Speaking of peppers, these are the, how you say it?
Colossal?
Jalapeno peppers. And we had a viewer send us a recipe last week for some pepper sauce on these. So I want you to try it. Here's a little bit of set.
You know, we always love these unique recipes that our viewers send in. And not only that, we're going to share it with you all as well. Now this one is really, really good.
This was sent from Cindy Perron, P-E-R-O-N. I may be butchering that name.
Thank you, Cindy, for sending us that. We have really enjoyed it.
And it's a pepper sauce, but we actually have enjoyed it on our salads as a salad dressing. And it's a really simple recipe. There's 12 jalapeno peppers, 8 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, a whole lime, a tablespoon of sugar, a half teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of onion powder, and a half teaspoon of garlic powder. And we'll post this recipe in the comments. What do you think? It's not hot.
Not hot, but
when it comes to hot.
Well, it's zesty. Let me just put it that way. Zesty.
Zesty.
It's a good zesty. It's good salad dressing. I can see we could use on a lot of different things. Tacos. It'd be good on tacos.
It would be good on tacos.
Got just a little bit of heat to it. Man, that's a big old salad you fixed me right there.
You got a lot to talk about today.
Yep.
But this will last up to a year in the refrigerator. And it probably took 10 minutes to make. You show them the seed right there?
Yeah, so for all those extra jalapenos
Look how
you have
big
left
these
over.
are.
Yeah, they're huge. Hence the word colossal.
Colossus.
Colossus, excuse me. Anyhow, big jalapenos.
And these will last up until frost.
Oh yeah, 85 days maturity. Yeah. So there we have it, folks. There you got some ideas, and that is some absolutely wonderful salad dressing. Jalapeno. It's not real hot. You did take the seeds out of it, though.
I did take the seeds out. It's called Pepper Joe's Hot Sauce. It's a medium hot.
Yeah.
And she also sent us one with some habanero that was hot, but we didn't try that.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about our main topic for this week. And this was something that I've been evolving with for the last few years now. So just to give you an example, since we started this business a few years ago, I kept thinking to myself, how can we more and more eat clean or eat better or eat more sustainable through our lifestyle here? And it's just kind of took a standstill there for a while. We'd make little bitty baby steps toward it, maybe a baby step back or two. And then we had the virus last year that really shook us to the core. We realized how susceptible we were with our food supply and about how we get our food and everything. Because, there was a couple of mornings we woke up, the grocery stores were not open.
Right.
So we felt like we were more prepared than most other people, but we still had this sense inside.
Then we had my grandmother and your parents.
Yeah, we had them to look after. So we had this sense inside that I think everybody had, that they wasn't as prepared as maybe they should be. Mm-hmm. We had a freezer full of stuff, and we were, in all honesty, we was going to be okay. But inside, deep down inside, we worried that we were not going to be able to save. So it was that sense of security that we really battled with. Since that, and trying to eat healthier in the last few months, we have really looked hard about what our intake is as far as groceries and the way we live. Now, there's three aspects to this right here. And number one is food safety. Now, food safety is a big one for me because I understand industrial farming probably more so than the average person does. With food safety, when you grow your own food, you know exactly what's been put on it, and you don't worry about certain things such as pesticides, such as maybe an overdose of fertility, or being contaminated with salmonella, or some of these other harmful things that can be out there in your food. You know, we hear about it all the time, these food recalls on lettuce and things like that really worries us. So food safety is a big thing for us, and just let me tell you this, and I don't want to get too deep in this, I hope you get the message, but with industrial farming, when they go out there to gather these crops, this produce, and I'm not talking about your farmer that you buy from at the farm stand. I'm not talking about your local CSA. I'm talking about industrial farming. When you buy industrial farming, I think about that. That's what you buy at the grocery store. Those guys, those huge industrial farmers, is the one that supplies your grocery chains. When they send a crew to the field to pick the crops, there could be hundreds of them out there. So you're dependent upon them to be clean and to be safe with the way they gather your food for it to, when it gets to you, to be not contaminated with anything that you want to be contaminated with. So that is important. When we gather our own stuff, we know exactly how it's been grown. We know how it's been harvested. We know how it's been handled. That is a common thing to us to know that. Also, sustainability. But to be able to know that you're going to be took care of, that you have the means to take care of yourself, and that you're not dependent upon the grocery stores or the supply chain. You know, we've seen the supply chain get really compromised through the virus thing. And even today, through a lot of hard goods, we're still seeing a lot of supply chains compromised. So not have to depend on that gives you a certain amount of calm and effect of knowing you can provide for yourself and that you're going to be okay. And also the health aspect of it. Eating healthier, you know that what you're eating is not loaded with pesticides. But here's something I'm going to throw at you that you may not ever thought about, or you may not ever realized. And mainly I'm talking about leafy vegetables here. So just to give you an idea how industrial farming goes about. So there's a crop of cabbage or a crop of kale or anything like that. Those things are grown on huge scales, and when the orders come in for those crops, crews are sent out there to gather those crops. So to give you an example, at 8 o'clock in the morning, they could be a nitrate or fertilizer application put on that crop, and they could get an order in at lunchtime, and then they send a crew out there to gather that order, say 1,000 skids of cabbage or kale or whatever. Now, when they do that, those vegetables are loaded with nitrates. Nitrates is a tough element to trap because it is so mobile, it moves so quick. But what happens a lot of times is these crops are loaded with these nitrates, and the reason is that's just the way industrial farming is done. It's not necessarily done on a regular basis. It's just done when the orders come in. So that can very easily happen. Now in the United States, nitrates in your vegetables or your fruits is not regulated. It is regulated in the European Union, but it is not regulated in the United States. So that happening is not against the law. It's not against any rules whatsoever. We have no government agencies that are looking over to make sure there are nitrates in your foods. So that's not regulated at all. So it is easy, very easy, for you to go to the grocery store and buy greens, lettuce, kale, cabbage, whatever, and it be loaded with nitrates, and you eat it and you have trouble with your belly. Your belly gets upset and it doesn't adjust well to that, and you're sick from that. And you always blame it on, well, I just can't eat greens, you know, because they just don't do me well. Well, what you don't realize is you probably may have been nitrate poisoning. It happens more often than not. So being able to grow your own vegetables, you can take that completely out of the situation and you don't have to worry about it. And what we've noticed is we're able to consume more vegetables because we don't have that problem. So those three things, food safety, sustainability, and eating healthy, are huge for us, and that is the steps we've been trying to make to eat more of what we can grow and what we can produce. Now, let me preface this right here. This is not the cheapest solution out there. Growing your own food may not be the cheapest way out there. The cheapest way is probably going to Costco or some of these big box places and buying what's ever on sale of these processed foods and eating them. But eating healthy and being sustainable and making sure that what you're eating is safe, necessarily you can't put a price tag on that. So don't necessarily try to justify it as a price tag, but understand what the end results of what you're trying to achieve. Now, let's move on to where we have come. In the last few months, we've gotten to a point where we can produce our own eggs. We have for years here. We actually have chickens. We have butchered our own chickens. However, we haven't done it in the last couple of years because we haven't been prepared to do that.
We've had goats.
We've made our own goat cheese for years. We had our own goat milk. We don't now, but that may be something we move back into in the near future.
And soap.
And soap as well. Yeah. So where we're at right now as a family is these are the things that we have to buy at the grocery store. We have to buy coffee. We have to buy our oils, such as our cooking oils and our butter, although I have made butter before. Yeah. It's been a long time. Cheese. We made cheese, but we don't make cheese at the moment, so we have to buy our cheese. We have to buy our spices. And then we have to buy our poultry.
And I'm working on the spices.
Yeah, you are working on that. We have to buy our poultry and fish as well. Now, we catch fish from time to time. We love to fish. But all in all, we have to buy a lot of our fish. We love to eat salmon. So those are the things that we have to eat, buy at the grocery store. However, we could cut some of those things out in the near future. So on our beef, your folks fattened us up a cow.
Yeah, my stepdad always fattens us up a cow.
We had it butchered, so we got a freezer full of beef that we know where it came from. Now we go to a local butcher shop and buy our pork. So we feel better about that, but we could raise our own hogs and carry them, get them butchered. And we could also raise more chickens and have more of a schedule of killing those chickens out and having our own poultry. Done that in the past. It's not that real big of a deal. You just got to plan ahead. I figure probably on 1 or 2 a week to eat. You got to plan way in advance so you can process 1 or 2 a week to eat. And I'm gonna give everybody a little hint there. I used to boil them and all that kind of stuff, put feathers off in them. I just skin them out. I got where I could skin one out in no time. Skin it out and.
I'd say 1 a week would be sufficient.
Yeah, it would be. You'd probably be for the 2 of us. It'd probably be enough. And then you could take the bones, whatever, make a broth out of that. Yeah. So there's a lot we could do yet. We're not, by no means are we telling y'all where we need to be. We're taking steps to get where we need to be on that. We have come a long, long way on our vegetables and our fruits and things like that. Mm-hmm. So we do typical things like everybody else does. We grow corn in the springtime. We grow it in the fall. We put it up, get a freezer full. We can tomatoes. We can tomato soup without the meat. Beans.
We have potatoes.
Peas. Potatoes we put up in the barn. Onions. All those things put up. But then what we have implemented this year is eating fresh leafy vegetables all the time. And we're going to show you today how that could be possible. We've talked about how it's hard to grow leafy vegetables in the summertime, especially here in the South on kind of the heat. And these things seem to bolt real quick. The lettuces, you can't hardly grow a lettuce in the summertime. They get bitter, and they just don't do. They get sun scorched. And we grow them fine in the fall and the spring, but we just can't grow them in the summertime. And during the peak of the wintertime, we can grow them, but they get a little slow. Yeah. But what we have realized is with these indoor growing systems, we can grow our greens year round. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's get into that a little bit. Now let's show you, first of all, for you all out there that have bought our seed starting kits, you will get these trays right here in your seed starting kit. And also inside that you will get the inserts. Now you can take these inserts out, or you can buy these separately on our site here, and you can use your seed starting grow light kit to grow you some microgreens. Now these are broccoli microgreens. And we did a little focus group about a week ago, and we let them have some for different the microgreens, and the broccoli actually came out pretty well on top.
It did.
These are 40 times more nutritional than the collard, the broccoli head is. So they're highly nutritious.
Those are
right there.
really good.
Easy to grow. The way we eat them is as a standalone salad. We cut them off and eat them. So if you got those grow light kits, you can grow these right here. You can use those grow light kits instead of putting them up after you get through growing your vegetable starts in the spring. Leave them out. Continue to grow microgreens and baby lettuce in these to give you fresh greens throughout the summertime and throughout those off seasons. So we got broccoli here that you can grow that. Now another one that I'm going to show you if I can find is a smaller one right here that we got. Now this is buckwheat. Now buckwheat to me, I don't like it as well as I do broccoli and sunflowers. I would eat buckwheat as mixed in with my lettuce or maybe another microgreen such as sunflower stuff. It has kind of a grassy flavor to it.
I like that.
Yep.
I like that.
And then if you wanted to grow your lettuces, you can simply just grow your lettuces in the same pot right here. Now the lettuces take a little bit longer than the microgreens do, but we grow lettuce as well as microgreens, and what I have been doing is I've been rotating. Like one day for lunch, I'll eat a lettuce salad. The next day for lunch, I'll eat a microgreen salad.
Those would be good mixed together.
Yep. And that's actually what, I think this is the red salad bowl lettuce right here. It does take a little bit more potting soil when you use these right here versus using the microgreens, but I'm going to go over with you the ideal way. If you're just interested in growing microgreens, I'm going to go over that with you today, the ideal way to do it. Now, like I said, you can grow the microgreens in this right here. If you're not sure you're going to like microgreens and you already have our seed starting kit, by all means, just try growing you some of these right here, see if you're going to like them and then go from there. Now, if you're dead set like we are, and if you're sold on the microgreens, this is what you want. You want our microgreen trays. Now our microgreen trays fit underneath our, let's make sure I get this right, our indoor seed start kit. It fits perfectly underneath that, and it also fits underneath our hanging grow light kit.
And we're going to show you a picture of those.
Yeah. So at the end of the show, we're going to show you what those look like, and we're going to put a link below where you can get those.
That's not my favorite.
Yeah, so these are the peas. This is definitely, these three.
Sunflowers.
Oh, yeah, excuse me, sunflowers. I got the peas down here. These sunflowers, peas, and broccoli are the top three of all the focus groups we've done on taste testing and the favorites that we've come to. The only downside to the sunflowers is you have to pick these little hulls off. They can be a little tricky, but the sunflowers have this great nutty flavor. Now this I eat as a standalone sunflower by itself. Now you can mix something in there, maybe a little spicier like arugula, or maybe the buckwheat, or something like a radish or something like that had a little spice. Yeah, beets. I think radishes would probably be better, arugula, and mixed in with it and make you a salad. Now to give you an idea on these sunflowers, these are the bigger seeds. You do have to soak these. These are one of the seeds that benefit from soaking before you plant them. A lot of the literature you read says 4, 8, 12 hours. What I have found the ideal soak time is 4 hours. So soak these seeds for 4 hours, then plant them. And let me see here. Blackout days, 2 to 3 days on blackout time. What that means is you put the tray on there. I'm going to show you in a little bit how that works. And then the growing time is about 10 days. And look here, yield per tray, 1 to 2 pounds. I think a whole tray of this right here would feed a single serving of probably 5 different people. So if you got a big family, you could serve them all at one time. Or if it's a small family like 2, what we do is we cut them all, clean them, put them in the refrigerator, and they last for a number of days.
And how long did it take to get this size?
10 days.
10 days.
From seeding. All right, let's move by. You got somewhere you can put this over there? We got a lot of props today, folks. Now here is another one that I mentioned is a favorite. Peas. This is a sugar Prince pea. Some of the peas have tendrils on them. This one right here particularly does.
Now you had a salad of this last week.
I did. I love it. Peas, nice dark green. You just look at that and tell how nutritious that is right here. Now the peas, soaking time, you have to soak these as well. And I soak these longer. I soak these overnight, anywhere from 10 to 12 hours, and then plant them. Blackout, 1 to 3 days. That's where you put the other tray on top of it before it starts sprouting up. Yield, 1 to 2 pounds. So there's a huge amount of yield off this as well. Same thing, 5 to 6 servings easily. And then the grow out time on this right here, 10 to 12 days. Now these are on about 12 days. I was trying to hold them over a little bit so I could show everybody on the show. Wonderful, they have a great flavor to them. Now I could eat these right by themselves. All right. All right, so we're gonna show everybody how we plant them. And I'm gonna got a broccoli that I'm gonna show how we plant. Okay, here is our microgreen trays right here. This is a solid, this is the one with holes. So what you wanna do, and I'm using the bottom tray here because I don't wanna make a mess, so I have a tendency to do that. With your microgreens, it's important that you use a real good potting medium. You don't want to use a potting soil from like the big box store that's got the big chunks of pine bark in there because it doesn't work well. Need to sharpen my knife. Can't believe I got a dull knife.
Dull knife. You had a dull knife a couple weeks ago with those.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on that right there. That's unlike me to tote a dull knife. Now this 8-quart bag right here will do 3 of these trays. Our 16-quart will do 6 of these trays. These let's see here. About these, I don't know, them things what, a little over 1 inch.
Yeah.
You don't want to fill it all the way up. You really just want to cover the bottom. I hope we can get an angle here to show you what I'm doing. Yeah, level that out right there real good. Now, once you get it leveled out, you want to take your microgreen seeds. And speaking of microgreen seeds, we have 6 different ones on our site here. And I'll show you right here. We got, which one's that? That's broccoli right there. Hold that. We got broccoli. We got champion radish, arugula. We got black oil sunflower, which is the one we showed you growing a while ago. We got the sugar Prince Pea, which is the pea we grew. And we got the buckwheat. So we have 6, that one's jumping off one. We got 6 different ones there. Now I'm gonna tell you the neat thing about these packs is the exact amount that you need for this 10-20 microgreen tray is inside that pack. So you don't have to measure or guess the seed density or how many to plant in there. We've already done all that work for you. So we got those on our site there. And let's look here. We're gonna do broccoli. How about that? So you open it up, and these are in 4 packs. These 4 packs will last a long, long time if you don't use your seed immediately.
But this is the right amount for this. You use the whole pack.
Oh, you're talking about the seed? Mm-hmm. Oh, heck yeah. It's perfect. We've already done all that for you, so you don't have to figure it out. Now we have this squirt bottle here, spray bottle. Now you can do this 2 different ways. A lot of times I'll do this outside because I'm kind of a mess maker.
Yes, very messy.
I get a little messy. Cooking, it don't matter what I'm doing, I'm gonna make a mess because I go hard at it. So you want to...
It doesn't clean up either.
I don't clean up well. You want to spray this down and get it wet. And you can do it 2 different ways. You can use your mist nozzle outside that you got in your greenhouse or your little pot bench, or you can use a spray bottle here. Now what you want to do is you want to get it pretty wet. Now you have to go over it a few times to get it wet. Now I'm not going to be able to do that here. After I get it real good and wet, I like to take it out of this and I like to stick it that way. And the reason for that is to drain out. You don't want it just sopping wet. Sopping wet is a southern term. Do you know that? Sopping wet. You don't want it sopping wet because what's going to happen is you're going to get mold and rot. But you want it to drain. You want to get it wet and then you want to let it drain. Put it back inside of your bottom tray, which is nice and covered so it doesn't drain out and make a mess there. Now, I've got my seed pack open. Then you just take it and just go over it real good, like right there. Try to get it as even as you can, but don't get all upset if you get a little heavy somewhere. I'm doing actually a pretty good job.
Yeah, a lot of practice.
A lot of practice. Just kind of sprinkle it over there. Get your edges good. Yep, just sprinkle it back. If you got any parts here you may have missed, damn, I did do good, didn't I?
You still got a little bit more in there.
Yep. Yep. All right. And that's pretty thick, dense plant there, but that's what you want. All right, so now that you got it all where you want, kind of pat it down. I like to pat it down beforehand, because once you get it wet, it gets a little sticky on your hands. Wet it again. Yep. Wet that again. Now, a lot of people will say after you do this step right here, your blackout on broccoli is 2 to 4 days. They say every morning and every night, take them off and spray them again. But I've not been doing that, and I've had good results. The key, I think, is having them in a good temperature so they don't dry out. Now, after you get them at that stage right here, you want to put another solid bottom tray on top. And I didn't bring a couple of bricks, but I put a couple of bricks here on top. And that forces this down so that it doesn't have much air in there, and it keeps everything nice and tight. Now, I will leave this right here in a 73-degree room for 2 to 4 days with those bricks on top of it. I don't ever take them off. Now, if you want to take them off once or twice a day and spray them back down, that's fine. Nothing wrong with it, as long as you don't get standing water in there. But I haven't done anything. Just put this on here in 2 to 4 days. You take it off, and what happens is you have all this yellow in here with this white where they're coming up. At that point, you put them underneath their grow light, and then in a few days, you've got broccoli microgreens. It's just that simple. Every 10 days, you can pop off a crop. So that right there has afforded us, boy, I did make a mess. Look at there. I got seeds. Yeah, you'll clean it up. We got we can eat all the time with our little small setup that we've done testing with. We can eat vegetables such as microgreens and lettuces every meal.
Yeah.
It's the thing I try to do at lunch. So we may not eat them, I may not eat them at dinner evening, but I've been eating every day for lunch. I've been rotating my salad and my microgreens for lunch. Been putting a little tuna and some cheese and some of those good tomatoes you pickled the other day in there.
Yeah, that you didn't like.
I didn't like. I actually like them.
Yeah.
I like them in the salads. So that's what we've been doing to fulfill our need for vegetables and be able to eat. I'm gonna say local. Eat more sustainable, I guess, is what we produce. So a couple keys here. 73 degrees. So whatever, most people keep their house 75 degrees, somewhere there. You want to keep this 73 to 75 degrees when it's germinating. When you take it out of this and put it underneath your grow light, you also want to stay at 75 degrees. All of these cover crops, with the exclusion of buckwheat, are cool weather crops. And they love that constant 75 degree temperature. They do well there. They got the most flavor. They got the best color. They got the best germination in that environment. And I think that's the whole key to it, is having the right environment for these microgreens and these lettuces right here. Now, buckwheat, it being a warm weather crop, it seems to do fine in that environment. I think if you was to have to grow it some outside, buckwheat would probably stand a little more heat than the rest of them does.
But you could do spinach, kale.
Yeah. I've even heard of people doing cantaloupe. Now, I've not done it. Experiment with cantaloupe as a microgreen. So yeah, you are unlimited what you can try. And there's lots of different ones out there. Heck, all different kind of stuff you can try. So let me give you an idea of what kind of equipment you got to have to do this with. Now, if you have one of those fancy day rooms where you get plenty of sunlight in a controlled environment, you can probably pull this out without a grow light. But for us and for 99% of people out there, you've got to have some type of grow light system to pull this off. And that way you can keep it underneath that light and in a cool environment. You can keep it all out of the way and it works fine. Okay, I want to show you here our grow light system that we have in our little grow room here. And what I did is I bought these racks here from, I think I bought it from Home Depot or Lowe's one. They call them baker's racks. They're actually 4 foot by 18 inches wide, and they work perfect. I got 2 of them here because I was overdoing a little bit. I had a lot to grow out for photos and for testing, but one would probably be enough. You could put, I'm going to show you here, this is what our hanging grow light kit looks like, and these work perfectly to hang on this baker's rack. You could put up to 3 of these hanging grow light kits on this baker's rack here and still have room on the top for your supplies and stuff. Or you could just put our indoor seed starting kit on there and have plenty of room left over. You could put 2 to 3 of those on there as well and have room left over for your supplies. And like I said, 89. Last I remember, it was $89 I paid for this little. Now they come in chrome and black. I like the black one better. Doesn't show up dirt. This is an ideal system, very inexpensive that you can set up. And the two different options that we have that the microgreens will fit under is the hanging grow light and the indoor seed starting kit. So it's twofold. You get to start your starts in the spring, and you can use it year-round to grow your vegetables. What better investment is that? Now we've got all these supplies on our website under Microgreens tab. We're going to be adding some complete kits here shortly, so we may have it by the time this airs, where you can buy a whole bundle where you get everything you need. But if we don't, we'll have it coming shortly. What do you think, Ms. Hoss?
Awesome.
Yep. It's a great thing. I mean, I was aware of microgreens, but until I dug down in it, I think it's a superfood that a lot of people should be trying. A lot of people don't know about it out there. It hadn't been around for a long, long time, but it's amazing to me. People up north seem to have got on the bandwagon a little bit quicker than us in the south did. How about some corny joke of the week?
All right.
Yep. You got one for me?
I do. You know, we're talking about tomatoes.
Yeah.
We had a lot of rain.
Yeah.
How do you fix a cracked tomato?
Cracked tomato. I'm going to have to go with the duct tape again, I reckon.
No. Some tomato paste.
Tomato paste. They get corny every week, folks. Feel free to use that at your local church function, or when you're getting your hair done at the beauty shop or at the barber shop, wherever you feel free. We give you free reign to use our corny jokes anywhere you need to. How about that?
And they're not original.
They're not original.
No.
So hope you enjoyed something this evening. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you learned something. And to be more sustainable, to eat healthier, to eat cleaner, on your purpose in life is to do better about treating our bodies, to eating better, to feel better, and to be more sustainable. So now, folks, it's time to get out there and get dirty.